And I can tell you for a fact, now I've got everything that kind of means something to me all in one place. And I've got this environment, how I want it. I know that people, when they come through the door, they stand there, they look, and they go, wow. But furthermore, when I come in here, I go, wow. And interestingly enough, this is how maybe we can look at whether these spiritual things work or not. 15 months ago, I was laying in bed and I was having a dream, and it was lucid dreaming. And what I saw was I saw really soft plastered walls meeting barked timbers. And I was like, I thought, oh, I don't know where this is, but I really like it. And it was sort of like the voice coming through the dream. And it said, that's your place you're just about to build.
Wow.
I went, what? What? And then that particular day, I had a workshop on at home. And I didn't want to go to work. And I sort of analysed this. And I was saying to myself, so what's the problem? The problem was people were coming to my house. There was nothing there apart from what I could do in terms of a skill set, which was all very well. But you know what? There was a huge thing missing. And I said, I can't do this anymore. I've got to go and get the right thing. And so I went down to the big Euston estate and I spoke to the Duke, who's one of the aristocratic landowners. I told him what the problem was. And I said, do you fancy helping me out? And he said, yeah. He said, the answer's yes.
Wow.
1 month later, I'm sitting inside that building looking at the soft rendered curved white walls meeting bark. And it was like, I'll tell you something, this probably needs to be put into this interview. There are things called elementals on this earth. They're natural spirits. So when we think of spirits, we might think of like your granddad or your father who's now in spirit, but there's elemental spirits. And I've felt them in that forest because elementals live in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them has been quite interested in me. And you can feel when he's there because it feels like somebody's watching over your shoulder. And he's taught me some funny stuff.
Wow.
Which, for example, I was sneaking through the woods one day trying to get an advantage on a deer. And I felt him right beside me. And he goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to sneak up on a deer. He went, you're being weird. I went, oh, yeah. So he goes, you're being weird. And it's like, nobody likes a weirdo. I went, oh, yeah. I became normal, right? And I understood that when you're sneaking, how can you belong when you're sneaking? You don't belong anywhere, really, do you?
No. Mm-hmm.
Then a little bit of time went by. I had quite a few experiences with it nearby me. A little bit of time went by and I thought, I hadn't seen it recently. And I went into the forest and I sat myself down and I felt it. I said, I haven't seen you lately. And here's an answer for you. He said, no. He said, no, you've been too angry.
Really? About what?
Yeah. I'll tell you why I was angry. I was angry because, I was really busy. And that meant I was rushing around. And that meant people were getting on my nerves because people were being like COVID angry. And I was building up a little bit of a... And I went, oh, yeah. And the point being, right, it was like, well, how are you going to fix that? It's like, you're going to take some time, mate.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Brush yourself down a bit. Take in that time and breathing again. Watching the insects, watching the sun. And what I loved about that, more than anything, was the clarity of the truth. And it didn't take him a second to answer. Because how can, if you're carrying anger, how can you fit into something so spectacular? It's like you've got to kind of put that down, make some room, so that your cheeks can come up in the air again. And that tells me that I'm not messing around with a fantasy, that this stuff actually is real. It's real as me and you are sitting here talking to each other.